Hey, how's it going everyone? This is the Anime Man. While the use of 3D animation in anime, especially recently, has kind of been a mixed topic recently in the anime community, slowly but surely there are more and more series that are starting to implement 3D animation into their anime series. In this new anime of 2016 alone, series like Ajin and Bubuki Buranki have all been full 3D animation, and depending on who you ask, that's either a good thing, a bad thing, or a thing. For me, it's a thing. And with 3D animation kind of slowly taking over the medium of entertainment known as anime, a few people have kind of posed this question to me, which I'd like to discuss in today's video. And the question is, will 3D animation eventually replace 2D anime? And right off the bat, the answer is possibly. I mean, if we've learned from history and experience, it's already happened in Western cartoons. We've moved away from hand-drawn frame-by-frame Disney and Looney Tunes animations to full-on 3D animations from Pixar and DreamWorks. So really, what's not to say that that is also going to eventually happen to the anime industry as well? Now, you might be thinking as to the reason why Western cartoons have shifted and anime industry may possibly start to be shifting from 2D animation to 3D animation, and that is simply because 3D animation is just a lot cheaper and a lot faster to make. Think about it, with 2D animation, each frame has to be hand-drawn over and over and over again by a large number of people. If you want to do different camera turns and directing turns, then the person drawing those frames has to accompany for that. They have to accompany for the speed of the shot. They have to accompany for the flow of the shot. It's all really individual pieces of art that are strung together in this really complex and beautiful animation. Not to mention that these frame-by-frame animators get paid very little to no money at all, so it's kind of the sweatshop equivalent of the animation industry. Meanwhile, 3D animation, 3D characters can be reused in multiple shots if they want the character to turn. Instead of drawing the model again from scratch, all they have to do is just rotate the model at a certain angle. If they want to add expressions, it's just a matter of changing the face rather than drawing the whole thing over again. In other words, 3D models and settings can be easily reused and recalibrated to fit that particular scene a lot easier than 2D animation because they already have a template to work on. It's just a matter of changing that template rather than creating a template altogether again from scratch. Now, while this may be some of the fundamental reasons as to why Western cartoons have shifted from 2D animation over to 3D animation, a lot of people have suggested that anime is not quite the same. Especially considering the fact that many of its pioneers are kind of against 3D animation. Big names like Miyazaki Hayao and Anno Hideaki, as well as a lot of animation production companies, still to this day use frame-by-frame 2D animation. But why? By using 3D animation, they'd technically be making more money, or at least saving more money in anime production. But what is the reason why they still insist in sticking to 2D animation? And I think the reason may come from the fact that these Japanese creators kind of want to prove a point to the world. Because in Japan, there is a commonly taught way of thinking, which is tradition is the utmost importance. Maintaining this tradition that the Japanese people have created for themselves and moving that tradition onto the next generation for them to learn off that tradition and hopefully also maintain that tradition is a commonly accepted mindset that is taught in Japanese schools and by a lot of Japanese people. Trust me, my grandma and mum have said the same shit to me. This is like being in a history class, but instead of learning the history from a textbook, you're learning the history from the person who created that history. In fact, this is one of the fundamental reasons as to why Studio Ghibli founder Miyazaki Hayao has relentlessly stuck to 2D animation to this day, and that is the fact that he doesn't want to break this tradition and art form, which is frame-by-frame hand-drawn 2D animation in anime. And there are certainly still many animation studios and production companies that also stick to this tradition. For the same reasons, maybe, but it certainly has that kind of mindset, I believe. But just because tradition is important, it doesn't stop a lot of animation companies, especially recently, to invest more in 3D animation rather than 2D animation, because as a company, it just makes them more money, which if you want to keep a company afloat and are running a company, it makes a lot of sense that you choose the option that saves you the most money. Now, personally speaking, I'm not a big fan of 3D animation in anime, and that may just be because I'm not quite used to it as of right now. You know, I've been watching anime for many, many years, and anime just throughout all of these years has just been a frame by frame, hand-drawn 2D animation style. But if I were to use like a simple analogy to kind of describe how I think about this, it's like with 2D animation, the love and care was put into each and every frame by the person drawing that frame. While with 3D animation, there is still a person who is putting love and care into their frames, but instead of putting love and care into each and every frame that they're drawing, they're putting love and care towards a robot that is drawing each and every frame. With 3D animation, it just feels like there's this subtle, unclear wall between the person making the models and the models themselves, which, I mean, makes a lot of sense since they're digitally created, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel as authentic in my opinion as 2D animation. But in the end, it's very unclear as to whether anime is going to progress like Western cartoons have. It's going to be interesting to see, in my opinion, as to how many anime series and animation studios are going to start converting more into 3D animation. Are animation studios going to prioritize monetary issues, or are they going to prioritize traditional issues? But as a single anime fan, I just like to say, why the fuck did you make Arjun into 3D, man? Come on. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think the anime industry is eventually all going to turn into 3D? And if not, what do you think is going to happen with animation quality and animation, I guess, procedures in future anime series? Also, let me know if you are a person that doesn't mind 3D animation or just absolutely despises 3D animation. What do you think makes a 3D animation good? What do you think makes a 3D animation bad? What's your favorite 3D animation? What's your least favorite 3D animation in anime? I want you guys to let me know all that kind of stuff in the comments below. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. As always, like and favorite if you enjoyed, subscribe for more anime banner, and I'll see you guys in the next video of whatever I make. Keep watching anime. Ciao!